All right, so the next thing I'd like to talk about is I'd just like to make a short video, and it's about when to scrap a project.
Clyde, scrap the caddy.
Now, I have been working on, and I'll provide a better view. I've been working on my Void Scarred Corsairs, and honestly, I really don't like the way they're turning out. So luckily, I was just testing the scheme on one model. But at that point, even though I've put a bunch of time into it, a bunch of work into it, you need to know when to scrap something if you don't like it. Because if you just keep working on it, you're never going to like it in the first place. So in this particular instance, I'm probably going to stop and reprime and try again. I don't know if I'm going to strip it or not. I mean, who knows? It's just one layer of paint. It's just a couple of coats, two thin coats across everything so far. But it just brings up the question on, when should you scrap a project if you know that you're not going to like it? And honestly, in my opinion, and this is obviously just my opinion, you should scrap it as soon as you know you don't like it. Because what's the use in spending more time trying to fix it and fix it and fix it and fix it? If you don't like it, stop the project. Stop the project, reassess, start again. And that's what I'm going to do with the Void Scarred Corsairs. But the thing is, you can't be afraid to try something, and if you don't like it, start over. I mean, it's just a bit of plastic. I mean, you can use different things to strip them. I mean, I personally use a 50-50 mix of LA's Super Awesome and water, and I just leave the model in there for a while, and it doesn't really do anything to the plastic itself. It just kind of takes the paint off. So that's kind of the thing that I'm struggling with right now, because I have put some time into it. I've put some effort into it. I use paint, time, paint, it's all money. But the thing is, why continue if you don't like what you're doing? That's the thing that you have to resolve. That's the thing that you have to just contend with, depending on how you feel about something. In the case of the Void Scarred Corsairs, I kind of wanted there to be a sort of, a uniform color scheme to all of it. But it ended up just being kind of a green, blue, and purple mess, and it didn't really have any cohesion, and it doesn't really look all that great, and honestly, I just don't like any of it. Now, in the past, what I've done, what I usually do is, I've wasted the paint, I've wasted the time, I've wasted the money. I'm going to go ahead and just finish it off and leave it to the side. Well, that's not always the best thing to do, quite honestly, because if you are working on a project, especially this particular project, this project is a personal project for me. It's not a commission, it's not for anyone else. It wasn't actually even for the channel at first. I decided to go ahead and just record it just in case I wanted to make a video out of it. And it ended up being a video less about me painting the Corsairs and now a video more about me looking at my paint job so far and just not liking the way it panned out. Something about the greens and the blues and the purple that I used, it just doesn't mesh as well as I thought it would. So that bears the question, how am I going to paint this Corsairs now? Well, I'm going to go back to the drawing board. One of the things that I do is I research color schemes and color theory, and I find images online, pictures that I can use to kind of riff off of, and different color schemes that you find even like in nature or in art or whatnot. For some reason, I haven't been able to find a whole lot about the Void Scarred Corsairs or any really decent paint jobs that stand out to me at all. But the thing is, one of the things you can do is use the color wheel, and Marco Frisioni from Marco, Not Just Mecha, He has a really, really good series of videos on color theory and paints and things like that. And I'll link that. I'm pretty sure I can link it now. But if not, I'll put it in the description. But that I actually have used his videos several times to go back over color theory and things like that and kind of help me construct color schemes, because sometimes colors that you think will mesh well on a model will not mesh well on a model. They don't really complement each other. And green, for me, I thought that green would be one of those universal colors, and I really like the green that I was using. It's called peacock green, and it's actually a Reaper color. I used it to paint a very large Cthulhu miniature. I guess you can't really call it a miniature when it stands like 1.5 feet high. But in the end, that color just, for some reason, it just doesn't scream to me Void Scarred Corsair. I have put some thought into maybe doing Gray Seer as the primer, or Wraithbone, and then going back to maybe contrast paints and trying the contrast method again. I've been kind of experimenting with using different colors and color schemes and methods for painting these guys and for painting all kinds of models. I kind of went back to basics here recently, and I've been using just a black base coat, no zenithal, no fancy anything, no weird tricks or techniques. No contrast paint, just the original, this is how I used to paint kind of method. And it's been great. But honestly, I think that it's about time that I go back to using contrast as one of my weapons of choice. Because, there are some people out there that feel like contrast is the lazy man's way of painting or whatnot. But it's just another tool. It's just another piece of the puzzle in your painting journey. For me, having contrast paints around, they're amazing. Some of my favorites are Black Templar, Skeleton Horde. I tried the speed paints by Army Painter, but I've found that if you don't let them dry thoroughly and then seal the model before you start putting other colors on there, for me, they have all reactivated. And I don't like that, because I don't like putting coats of varnish on a model while I'm in the middle of trying to paint it. I would rather just paint it all the way through and be done with it. So speed paints aren't necessarily my thing just yet. I did try putting some varnish from a dropper bottle in with paints, and that seemed to work okay, but it didn't really produce the right results that I was looking for. So in the end, for me anyway, speed paints are just not a thing that I'm going to use. They might be good for you. You never know till you try them. But the thing is, you can't be afraid to stop and start over. Once again, as I said in the beginning, it's the same thing with contrast paints and versus speed paints. Try it. If you like it, great. If you don't, well, start over. It's a piece of plastic. Anyway, so that's just kind of my thoughts for right now. Just a kind of a short video. I don't usually do videos like this, but maybe I'll do some more in the future. Who knows? Just kind of my thoughts on the situation. And hopefully I'll find a decent color scheme for my Void Scarred Corsairs. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And we'll see you again in the future.